Should I just do it live? My congressman, I can't give a needle to my... There's no kind of pain, just you bet. I don't remember the words.
My, Jeff Ott in 15 would be very proud.
I love that song. I just blanked on the words.
You don't you know drugs are everywhere, drugs are everywhere, drugs are everywhere. You can't stop it. Living like a bag of pop in a bowl and so it's one of a day. Drugs are everywhere, drugs are everywhere, drugs are
Hey, Murph here. I'm a former heroin addict, current alcoholic, and you're tuned into Self-Medicated Weekly Dose, a podcast all about drugs and the people who use them. As always, this program is inspired by the harm reduction movement, informed by my personal experience using all sorts of drugs for damn near 30 years, and enlightened by my special guests. And guess who's back? Back again. Kolsky's back. Tell a friend. Kolsky's back. Kolsky's back. Kolsky's back. Kolsky's back.
Hello.
Da-da-da. Yes.
Wow. You're going to get some lawyers on your ass for
yes.
that.
Marshall Mathers will be coming for me for that one. I'll have quite the diss track out there. I'll be bound in the back of a trunk of a car and thrown in a river. Who knows? But I welcome it, Marshall. Respect. Well, you know what? Look, I already spoil her. We're out there. We're in there. We're out there. She's back with us again. My favorite guest of all time. I'd have her on every episode if the listeners would allow it.
They hate these apps.
They don't know, but they're just like, would it be every ep? Maybe it would.
They want a variety.
I also don't even know if they wouldn't. I'm going to put a poll up. There'll be a poll out there. Insta poll is coming.
I don't want that. That's bad for my self-esteem.
Fair enough. You're on the socials.
Or it'll feed my ego in a way that's unhealthy.
Ooh, either way, it's a lose-lose. Insta polls. Insta polls are a lose-lose. Well, Diana Kolsky's here.
Hi.
My lover, my life partner, my partner in just, this massive mess that we're just living through right now. We got her live in studio here.
That's right.
Dear, what do you think of the dig?
The setup. I like it. For our listeners at home, Murph has a little studio set up in the basement. It is very cool. There's some lighting. What kind of lighting would you say this is?
I would say this is LED track.
LED track lighting. It looks really good. He has it on the green setting, which feels...
Well, little spoiler for we're gonna be talking some buds later on the program. So you suggested the green because there's a bunch of different colors here on the...
he's changing it up, folks.
On this. No. I was just... All right. There's a blue.
Oh, that's like an icy blue. This is more of a royal.
Now, see, this is where... Now, I've been down here, weeks, months, years. I don't know how long I've even been here.
It's been a while.
Am I alive? But I've been looking at this lighting here, and you're great with colors. Me, not so much. Notoriously,
I do know the names of colors.
You know the name? No, but you know more than just the name. Let's be humble. You know what? There's no Insta poll going out. You don't need to worry about the ego.
All right.
You're phenomenal with colors. You know them. So
guilty.
What would you say? That the first one was icy blue. What do you say this is here?
I said it was more of a royal. It's like a classic blue. There we go. This is a fuchsia. Duh. White. Red.
Okay. Just a red, no crimson?
No.
This reminds me of the meme, the eyes when they come alive. There's that meme where people's eyes turn into red, little beady reds. It's like they've been activated. Usually it's like...
Is that like red pilled?
Well,
am I mixing up my
No, I think it might have
it
started as a red pill thing. It might now mean communist, or it might just be you're activated, you're fired up. I don't know. All right, next one.
Interesting. It's tempting to say yellow, but it's more of a lime.
Oh, a lime.
Yeah,
lime.
There's a little bit of green. It's greener on this side than that side. I mean, are they going to keep listening?
They must. We're almost through. And here's our green.
This is a classic green.
This is cannabis green.
Cannabis green. Oh, look at you naming colors.
See, I do know when it comes to marijuana colors. I think I know them. Well, it's exciting to have you back. This is your fourth, fifth, ninth time. I want you here always.
I only do the palindromic episodes.
You do. We took a peek at the episode, the numbers there, and it was we saw you were 1, 11, 22, and now here we are for 33.
1 is not a palindrome, but I guess it is. It's the same forward and backwards.
I mean, just colors
it's
and
not
numbers.
A multi
colors and numbers, man. She knows them.
Oh, man. Wow. Yes. That's true.
So, we're just we've done it all with you on the program here. So we're just gonna get topical. Because this episode's coming out tomorrow.
Okay, I have a lot to say.
I know. I can see it in your eyes, and I got some stories we can dive into. Before we get into what else is just going on, I was kind of this popped into my head as you were sitting down here getting settled in, because you were there when I believe you heard part of this conversation. She might have been on the speakerphone, or she might have been on FaceTime with our child there. But when Jane, it makes me just kind of feel like, am I doing my job, my due diligence here on this program? Am I doing a decent enough job explaining to people what the fuck is going on out there? Because, and I know my folks don't listen to my mom was on the self-medicated, the narrative podcast there. She was one of the guests on there, did a phenomenal job trotting the old skeletons out of the closet and talking through it. A lot of people, were said that was a great episode. So I appreciate her for that. And I don't expect her to listen to a weekly podcast. She doesn't listen to podcasts at all. But the conversations we've had, I'm like, I don't know if my messaging is off, but so her, a friend of hers, UPS delivery driver that I guess comes to her work, a dear friend of his died of an overdose, and she was telling us this, and she, I kind of was like, oh, the drug supply is poisoned. It's terrible, so whatever. And she just kind of was like, yeah, drugs are poison. It really is terrible. And she just, when someone's just kind of not getting it, and you're like, what the fuck? Not that drugs, of course, but there's not even nuance. I just think that's just factual. The fentanyl that's out there and the poison drug supply seems like something that I talk about a fair amount in my personal and life and on the mic. So, will you talk shit about my mother?
Your mom doesn't listen to the podcast, first of all, so I don't think you're changing her heart and mind with the podcast that she's not hearing.
Fair enough.
Second of all, if she just misheard you, she was probably just being like, yeah, it is poison.
It's just not the first time, and not even with her. I mean, just in general, it's like it's good. She would be a good candidate for, and they have out there in Vegas, they have they want to get, your average person, bring them from around the country. We're doing a focus group. We're watching a pilot, or we're doing whatever. So I think she'd be good for that. So it's good to kind of see what people are giving back to you, and then you kind of process that and maybe try to get the messaging through. But preaching to the choir is one thing about people listening to the program, but outside of on mic, I like to try to hopefully. It might have been an off day, I don't know, but I thought about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Well, just keep sending her the episodes.
I'll just keep dropping them in.
I think this is a
email she doesn't check.
It's a marketing issue. That's on you.
You're right. I need to get her on the mailing list. I need to get her back on email. God damn it. We'll get there.
Well, if we're airing grievances, I was told to bring my own beverage, which I felt was cutting corners around here.
That's a little bit, that's a kind of that's a little bit of a taboo to bring up with the guest, in front of the guest.
Oh, interesting.
On mic.
Sorry.
To talk about the behind the scenes.
I don't get out much. Yeah, it's a lime seltzer that I grabbed, and then I had to bring you a seltzer as well.
I was about to say, you didn't just, you're considerate, so you brought me one as well. This is a polar. Friend of the program, Josh Gondelman, big polar guy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say friend of the program, Polar Seltzer.
Polar Seltzer is now a friend of the program. Any friend of Gondelman's a friend of mine.
Right.
Well, this is ruby red grapefruit. It's grapefruit.
Grapefruit.
Thank you for the seltzer.
That sounds like one of those like monster themed Halloween flavors.
Oh, like an old cereal, like the blueberry Frankenberry.
Like,
grapefruit.
All right.
Well, listen, we're going to dive in then. We got topical shit. You got shit on your mind. I can see it in these green LEDs just beaming.
Well, I was going to say cannabis green. You could also say alien green.
Oh, we're here now. We're here. So let's run a little distraction. What do you think? You think it's finally time?
I don't know what to think about aliens, but I think anytime it becomes very apparent through like recent data that the ecosystem of the planet is collapsing, they trot out an alien story.
Yes.
And it's very funny. And they're always correlated. So they're like, oh, the Atlantic current is going to collapse in the next 2 years. And then they're like, oh, we do have non-human bodies in our custody. And that's all we have to say about that. And then everyone loses their mind. And anyway.
It's when they want you to start rewatching old episodes of unsolved mysteries rather than tuning into what's actually going on in the moment. Yeah, it does feel like that. There's a lot of that floating around. There's a lot of the not releasing. Biden said no to redacting a lot of the JFK declassified stuff that was supposed to come out too. So that, there's stuff hovering around that. I just feel like if all of these things are kind of even true, specifically the JFK one, is I do think that there's a last level of, you talked about red pill earlier, black pilled, red pilled, all the pills,
green pilled,
blue and yellow, purple pills. I've been to Mushroom Mountain, Marshall, so come for me. Yeah, all the pills. I feel like once people just truly wrap their minds around, like, okay, it's all out on the table. The government actually murdered a sitting president. To further the war machine and whatnot. I think that might just be people, but like I think they kind of know people will be like, that's it and that's all. Like
what's weird is people already know that and they're just like in denial.
You're right.
I mean, unless you're like freaking out and very online. Like I think people like our parents' generation probably kind of got that.
Yeah, I was
it's
raised
in the
with,
ether,
yeah,
but they just don't want to sit around and talk about it because it's just too brutal to be like, we're all part of the machine just going to grind us up. And the hubris to be like, oh, we have alien bodies, but we're not going to talk about what we did to the president is very funny as well.
That is funny.
Like, get over yourself.
Please. Boomers, get over yourselves.
They're like, our species has a secret.
Shh. Get a secret.
Fucking losers. Secret's out.
Nanu. We killed Kennedy. Yeah. Well, I think that's right. I think that we're trotting those aliens out. I would love to just get those intergalactic substances. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, interesting. You have an angle here.
Of course, because you know that. Listen, if they're evolved, which is how they've been portrayed, maybe they're.
I mean,
they're
the
not.
flying machines.
You got to see them saucers.
They move in ways that we cannot technologically replicate or explain. That does, make them seem way more advanced than us.
Sure.
But then come kill us or save us or something.
Well, the DMT, but then we can start to move in some ways. So we have some chemically, what is it? Chemically altered states.
You mean our minds move that way, but we're not like powering spacecrafts with DMT.
No.
Yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. We will see what, if they come in peace, if they don't come in peace, because we ain't coming in peace.
I mean, we've never been a peaceful people.
No. To serve man will actually just be a new DMT recipe. Let's just dive into the substance report, huh?
Would love that.
I love you.
This is the question. Do junkies' lives matter?
This first story here, Diana, this is our cannabis story. We're going to just keep those lights nice and green. This one comes to, for the listeners here. I'm out of sorts. We're here in the studio. We're live. I'm used to having somebody on a screen. There's the energy, the musk. You smell phenomenal. It's getting me, like I'm in the moment, which makes me just fumble around with these pages. But the substance report is the mainstream media's narrative on substance use has always been garbage and frankly always will be. So what we do here is we pull the top drug related stories in the news and give them proper coverage. So here's our first story. This is from.
I'm sorry. Were you saying I smell so bad that you can't read?
No, so good. You stink so bad.
You're like, I'm out of sorts. I can't read.
I'm out of sorts because you smell like shit.
Yeah.
No, you smell good. I'm saying there's a human here. It's nice. It's nice.
I do have my mint chapstick on.
This one comes to us from Reuters.
Heard of it.
The headline, this is July 26th. I mean, we're keeping these like within a few days here. These are super topical today.
Wow.
Title of this one here is MasterCard moves to ban cannabis purchases on its debit cards. MasterCard has told financial institutions to stop allowing marijuana transactions on its debit cards, dealing a blow to an industry already on the fringes of the financial system in the United States. Most banks in the country do not service cannabis companies as marijuana remains illegal at the federal level, despite several states legalizing its medicinal and recreational use. MasterCard.
Big brother.
What was the huge brother?
Who owns MasterCard is the question here. Like, where is that coming from?
Who owns MasterCard? I'm going to go ahead and say Epstein. Let's see. Who owns MasterCard? I think it's not a conglomerate because they're outside of the JP Morgan Chase. What did it used to be? They're everywhere you want to be. Wasn't that their slogan? No, that's Visa. Visa was everywhere. What's MasterCard?
Priceless?
Priceless. Okay.
Is that MasterCard? Or is that American Express?
Well, Amex
is everywhere you want to be.
No, that's Visa.
Oh.
Visa.
Added some vowels.
The diners.
I just
supper
mean this
club.
is obviously coming from somewhere because they want money. They want to garner fees on anything anybody wants to buy. So to cut themselves out of this like booming industry is ridiculous. Like this is obviously some
Well, that's what I always wonder. Is
moral panic nonsense.
Could it be? Yes, because you're right. People do not tend to put. There's a few.
It
If
might
you look
be
through the
big
billionaires,
pharma.
there's a handful. Yes, there's a
They're
handful.
being lobbied by big pharma because the issue here is people are getting off the pharmaceuticals onto the weed.
That's a
They're
problem.
like, we don't want you to smoke a bowl before bed for your back pain. We want you to take all this other shit.
But you could go down in the pharmacy. You can put your OxyContin. You can put your Adderall. Actually, scratch that. Neither of those are available for people. They're really making it a hard time for people to get them. But there was a time when you can go down and put those on a MasterCard at the farm.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously completely ridiculous. What you can buy with MasterCard is a bunch of other shit that's terrible. So
Hey, listen, you don't accept it.
I'm just wondering who's pulling their strings because
You're right.
they just want money.
Well, so here's what's interesting. So the president, Sunburn Cannabis,
That's his name.
Dr. Sunburn Cannabis. He's the president of this pot firm, and he said, "We'll continue to advocate for cannabis reform in Washington through further dialogue with elected officials and state." So we'll lobby.
Ooh,
We'll lobby.
further dialogue.
Yeah, what?
Hold on to your butts.
They're going to dialogue it out. Yeah, no, so they're lobbying. So, okay, we're going to keep lobbying hard, which again, I like you said, I don't know why there isn't enough money. Earlier this month,
They shouldn't have to lobby. Like, it's a billion-dollar industry. I don't understand what's
apparently
happening.
Chuck Schumer, New York Senator Chuck, Chuck, not certainly not a friend of the show, plans to pass a marijuana banking bill. But this Republican Senator John Cornyn, certainly also not a friend of the show, said that it was wishful thinking to get that through. So there is the Safe Banking Act is the legislation that would make it easier for the cannabis industry to access banking services. But it's stalling out. It's apparently stalling.
Another
So
weird
you're
thing
right.
about this is they like to track people. So you think you want people to use cards. Because I'm going to age myself here, but when you used to go to a head shop, when it was early legalized, like in Colorado or something, you had to pay cash. Do you remember that?
There was a time when it
You
was
always
just cash.
had to have
You're
cash.
right. You're right.
So now it's legalized here in Oregon. You can go in a very civilized manner and use your credit card, which, I mean, these are the worst companies on the planet.
Yes, sure,
So
sure,
the fact
sure.
that they are,
That's interesting.
pretending they have any like moral high ground here is ridiculous. But I would think that they'd want to know who's buying what where, especially if you're traveling and they're trying to fuck with you. Like, I think it's a very weird move.
Yeah, you're right. It is what. Why would they not just cash those checks? Well, the crypto also now, which is now being co-opted, of course, by the federal government for their own banking system that they're going to kind of just co-opt crypto, where they're like, oh no, outside the boundaries of which, of course, there's all sorts of shenanigans going on with that. But it was a great way to buy drugs for people for a while, crypto for sure.
Oh yeah, on like Silk Road.
On Silk, well, yeah. Silk Road, I think, is R.I.P. Silk Road. R.I.P. Paul Rubens. R.I.P. Silk Road. R.I.P. Sinead. This is our topical.
Angus Cloud. I know it's been a bad week for
It's been rough.
people dying.
This is super topical. I might check the net before we go here. There might be somebody else.
Here, let's have a moment of silence while you put in the other people who have died until tomorrow when this goes up.
Okay.
R.I.P. And of course, R.I.P.
And I would be remiss not to say R.I.P. We didn't see it coming.
Never thought so soon. R.I.P.
Hey, did you hear? Died?
Hey, dead at 61. Oh no. It's weird. This is one of those where I thought they were already dead, and now I'm sad all over again.
Classic. Well, I mean,
Lastly,
and fuck you.
rest in piss, you fucking asshole. Who are we going to put in that one? All
Oh, we'll have plenty of names to plug at the rate we're going here.
right. Excellent.
They're flying off the shelves. I don't know if that's the turn of phrase.
They're flying off
They're
the
flying off the shelves.
shelves of being alive into the bags of death.
Yes. So all right. So I don't know. Lobby away. It's very strange that MasterCard's trying to die on this hill, but it's not everywhere you want to be. And put it in the bank.
Wait, I do want to know their slogan because we need to make a joke about it.
Yeah,
and how it doesn't apply
MasterCard.
here. MasterCard. It's not.
MasterCard.
Oh, MasterCard. It's MasterCard. MasterCard.
MasterCard slogan?
Priceless.
Priceless.
It was priceless.
You were right. It's an advertising campaign by MasterCard that started in 1997.
Priceless. Yeah, you can't put a price on drugs.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Wait, yeah, so that's
There's some things money can't buy. There's some things you can't buy with our card.
Wait, hold on. There are some things money can't buy. What can't money buy?
Like
money can buy drugs.
I think they're being like love. Because they would do these commercials. It's like family love.
But
And then it's like but somebody's footing the bill on that Thanksgiving meal,
Oh, bless. So the MasterCard, you know, charge card for love. I get, okay. All right, MasterCard, you sneak.
So are they putting cannabis in the like untouchable emotional category?
Maybe this is an elevation of cannabis. Maybe this is a respect.
Yes.
Respect to cannabis. Money can't buy cannabis.
No, they're like, you have to barter for that with your soul because this is just a dirty piece of plastic.
Yeah, fuck this. In our interest rates and our predatory lending. This is above that. Cannabis is above all that.
You'll have to use the microplastics within your body. It was within you the whole time.
It was swimming inside you. Carcinogens.
Can't have the wallet plastic.
All right. Well, fuck MasterCard. We'll buy our weed, where we can with our crypto, with our weekly dose coin. Next story we're going to slide onto here, Diana. This one.
Yes.
This one is, now we got to change gears here because we just did our in memoriam. We had some blank spots. I mean, they're filling up fast, but we got someone here who we might be able to
we're
fill
already
in.
Got a couple people going in there.
This one's from Al Jazeera. This one's from yesterday. Singapore executes first woman in nearly 20 years over 31 grams of heroin. Singapore's hanged a 45-year-old citizen who was caught with 31 grams of heroin.
Hanged.
First, yeah, I always say hung.
Oh, no, I'm just actually referring to the method
Hung
of
like
murder.
a mule. Oh, okay, got it. I thought you were talking grammar. The first time the city-state has executed a woman in nearly 20 years. Saradiwi Binte Jamani was hanged on Friday after being convicted of trafficking, quote, not less than 30.72 grams of the drug. In 2018, the Central Narcotics Bureau said in a statement. Okay, so Singapore, putting people to death.
I have some questions.
Sure.
This is obviously not what's important, but how much is 31 grams? Because that's featured heavily in the in the headline.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, put it this way. From someone who has used a lot of heroin and sold some heroin and had a lot on me over the years, I've had way more than that on me. So,
but is that what they're?
Well,
does that?
So basically, a bag of heroin. If you just think of like a single bag like that, is usually like half a gram to a gram.
Okay, so the point in saying this is that it was enough that they thought she was trying to sell it. Is that the point of saying? Okay.
Yes.
Because how many grams leaves when you're sold?
Oh, sorry, 1/10 of a gram. My brain, I'm way off. Sorry, 1/10 of a gram is in a bag. So a bundle is basically like a gram broken.
Okay, so 31 grams is a decent amount.
She had a few bundles on her, yeah.
Yeah.
Likely, again, I don't know what her situation was. Maybe she was splurging. Maybe she had some fliff, and she was generally what happens.
No,
here is
I'm
sell
not making any
feed that.
assumptions.
I hear you, but just for context, yeah.
Right, exactly. Like from someone.
It's not nothing. I will say that. It's not like they were just. It's not like she was just. It wouldn't be personal use what you would consider. It's like she likely was either buying in bulk and potentially.
Because they said trafficking, but that's like such a loaded word. I'm like, is she definitely trafficking? Couldn't you like go? Yeah, is there like a heroin Costco where you would like load up?
Yeah.
Probably not, right?
You're
probably moving it if you're
likely moving it, but again, moving it out of, and this doesn't even matter. It's like, they always draw the lines on like, where are you, where's the argument taking place here? So I'm like, we're going all the way to the far end here, obviously with an execution, but it's like, yeah, likely, out of desperation, out of need to be like, well, this is an expensive habit to keep up potentially. So if you can get out ahead of it, and you can sell a little bit and then, take those profits and put them in the veins, then that's certainly a thing a lot of people do. So that there's that. But again, even if your material conditions have forced you into a situation where you're selling and you're not using, like whatever the hell the damn thing is.
People want to buy it, so I don't think there's anything wrong with selling it. I was just curious why they didn't just hang someone for having enough heroin to like have a nice evening.
No.
Right.
This is more. This is. I mean, anyone, even in my heyday, where I was, shooting up a bundle a day, I'd still be like, oh, nice, I've got 31 grams on this. Is, you're in good shape there. So it wasn't nothing, but still.
How many grams is it? I was trying to ask this earlier. When your soul leaves your body, remember they made a movie about it.
Oh God, yes.
Is that 31? Because that'd be fun.
Is that 31 grams? Let me look here. 30.
Yeah, so make sure to put in RIP to this woman.
Yeah. Oh, we'll add
back
her
in our memoriam section because that's rough. Soul
21 grams.
21. Okay, so she had 10 over.
10 over the soul. I mean, so she's moving some weight.
The devil on your way to hell. No, that's a terrible reference.
No,
no judgment to this lovely woman.
You love it. Yeah. So she was peddling 10 grams over a soul.
Wait, who was in this? This was Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, of course.
Oh my God.
Legendary Sean Penn, who
he should be hanged.
He should be hanged unless he smelts them Oscars. His whole thing was, if you don't have Zelensky hosting the fucking Oscars, I'll smelt my trophies. Now,
yes,
I haven't seen the smelting.
Better get a smelting, Sean.
We should write a film called The Smelting and pitch it to Sean Penn. Benicio, Naomi Watts. I mean, this was directed by Alejandro Gonzalez, Clay Duvall's in there, Melissa Leo. I mean, this is a cast. What is this pile of shit? American psychological drama film. Well, I haven't seen it.
But that is a thing. Like, basically, I don't know if this is scientifically accurate, but when...
I'm going to say no.
If you weigh someone and they're alive and then they die and you weigh them, they're supposed to be 21 grams lighter, and they're saying that's the weight of the soul.
This needs to be this woman's defense at her hanging.
I mean, first of all, she
goes, my 21 grams, you're going to get 21 more grams out of me after
If the number were the same, it would help the case, I guess.
If it was exactly 21. Yeah, I mean, no, that is I guess a bullshit thing people say. Who's weighing people right
How
after
do you
they
know
die?
it's exactly? That's a really weird one.
It's very weird. I mean, there's fluids that leave your body.
The minute
you piss
you die,
and shit yourself.
It depends how you
No,
go.
everybody pisses and shits themselves.
I don't
the
think
moment
that's
they die.
always true.
It's as true as this heavy soul situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, is that a heavy soul? Soul.
My soul was 40 grams.
This is
my soul had type 2 diabetes and was obese.
Be laughing at this. This is terrible.
The title, okay, here we go. The title refers to an experiment in 1907. Science was tremendous back then, as tremendous as it is now, I suppose, which attempted...
Science was tremendous. That's like a Trumpism.
It is. That is
tremendous time
tremendous
for
science. The science was tremendous back then, which attempted to show scientific proof of the existence of the soul by recording a loss of body weight. So these sick fucks, this is some sort of Nazi experimental. They're immediately following death, referring to a 21 grams.
A little early for Nazis. I bet they did
Never
put a
too
rock.
early for Nazis.
They put a rock in someone's shoe and then took it out, and they were like, "Look," because everybody wants to.
Tremendous science. Before Fauci, tremendous science.
Oh my God, this is a very topical. We're talking about this old ass movie.
No,
doing Trump impressions.
We're 100 years old. Super topical. If this were released 10 years ago,
this guy talks funny.
He's
He's
a funny talker. Doesn't like Fauci.
Well, I think this is sad. Singapore. I mean, it's just hard though, because of course this is terrible, but like, how many kids starve every day in this country? Go to bed hungry? 12 million.
Yeah,
and then we're like, one person was murdered by. I mean, the state anywhere should never be murdering anybody, but it's just hard to really care.
Sure.
Sorry.
No. I can understand that. I think there's.
I guess my issue is I'm against all capital punishment. So to be like, you shouldn't be killed for drugs. It's like, of course not. That's absurd. But I don't think you should be killed for anything.
Yes.
So I kind of am like.
I think that's and you got to find. Listen, you got to find within this the discourse, within the lines drawn in the sand. You always got to find those, because you're right. on the other side of it, there's always some bullshit where you're like, well, hold on. Before we get into
Yes.
the nitty gritty of this, and you got people all worked up over this specific thing.
Yes.
Let's talk about, which is funny that in this Al Jazeera
But they're trying
article,
to. They're trying to get us to make a moral judgment.
Sure.
Should she have been
Well, it's the same. It's
executed? It's like, no, nobody should be fucking executed.
also, we shouldn't be, we shouldn't be, what is it, legalizing? No, but not legalizing. We shouldn't be litigating,
Yes.
the morality in the first place. That's just that's a fool's errand. And there's the same way as it's with the abortion stuff where it's like, is it live alive? Is it a child? When does it become a child? When is it a person? When is it a fetus?
Yeah. It's like
that's a
Carlin
fool.
said, you're like, we have no problem killing people.
Right.
We have no problem with like wars, forever wars, soldiers, starvation, unhoused, no health care. So like, it doesn't matter if the baby's alive or not.
No. And so Al Jazeera here in this article has which countries still have the death penalty. Just it's curious of
Ooh, interactive map.
an interactive map.
Love.
Of course, USA and
See,
China.
this is a
and
slate,
India.
a slate navy, a black,
Ooh.
like a Nike orange, and I'd say a dusty teal on this map.
In the dusty teal. Wait a minute. A Nike orange. Is that a color?
Yeah, I mean,
From
in my mind,
from the Nike?
yeah. It's like you could have like a Coca-Cola red. You know, it's like a very
okay.
recognizable hue.
All right, colors. All right.
I was
Hugh.
trying to show off because you were building me up earlier.
No. It just the Nike the branded color commentary was just
Too
a little
much?
jarring. No, it was just a little jarring.
Can you go back to the map though and tell us about the death penalty?
Yeah, no, I just closed that out in a huff. I closed that out. As soon as
Okay, I'm going to say a new color.
as soon as I saw that swoosh come out,
All
I
right.
said,
Orange, blue, and black. Can we get the map back?
"We sure can." Here comes the map, and it's Al Jazeera.
And the map is loading.
And
And it's going out.
loading. What?
Anyway, do you remember any of the countries? I'm trying to have a discussion.
Loading. I got the Wheel of Death here
You
on just a
allowed those
website, and we're clear. Here's the map. Oh, it's some leaked nudes. It was a slow load. All right, which countries still have the death penalty? So we've got it's abolitionist for all crimes. So meaning that they don't give the death penalty at all. That's your slate. Blue, abolitionist for ordinary crimes only, crimes not committed during times of war. That's interesting. So there's some countries who decide, that they will only put people to death during times of war. Because in case there's not enough death in the war, they're like, well, we need to, I don't know what that.
No, I think they're saying they won't prosecute you if you murder somebody, if you're doing it for a war.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. Then there's abolitionist in practice, which means they have not executed.
They're pretending
I'm an
they
abolitionist in
don't.
practice.
Yeah.
I do not preach what I practice. Not executed anyone over the past 10 years. There's countries that are in that. And then there's retentionist, has the death penalty in practice.
Okay, so that's orange. That's the U.S., obviously.
U.S. So in the entire Western
Egypt,
hemisphere.
it looks like. I can't see that map.
Guyana,
yeah.
Guyana and the U.S. is the only on this side of the globe. Is that right? The West.
Well, I mean, the Europe is the West. The Europe is the West.
The Europe. All right. So when we get over there, and we've got in Europe, it's just Belarus.
Classic.
Just Belarus sticking out there, and then a bunch in not a bunch, but some in Africa.
East Africa.
Africa's got it.
Northern. I see.
Nigeria, Cameroon, Congo,
Going down
Botswana, South
Ooh.
Africa.
Botswana down there, yeah. Zimbabwe.
So then we go over and we get into, of course, the Middle East. They're loving it. They're on board.
They're killing it.
Yeah, them in the U.S. We love.
It is
we stand.
people. Yeah, okay.
So all the way through, Pakistan,
gotcha.
Iran, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, then
So
China, India.
There's more orange than I would expect, is my point.
That's right. There
On
is
this
more
map.
orange. We're getting there, though. No.
And that's where Nike has their sweatshops, right? Am I seeing this correctly?
That Nike orange. Here we are again with the fucking plug. We're at the product. This map's going. This map's going away.
I was justifying
No,
why.
I'm Xing it out. I'm Xing it
it's
out.
Gone. All right, on to the next story.
Nike's, no more Nike, please. I know we're in Oregon, but Jesus. All right. So this one here I have, I did have. I have the actual physical papers.
For our listeners, Murph is feverishly rifling through some printouts.
Well,
holding a highlighter.
I also had the real.
Not even a real pen.
the real deal. Yeah, I'm just sniffing a highlighter over here. The actual newspapers here, because this is a local story we're going to end on.
Great.
Topical, super local and topical, and the actual physical.
We need a portmanteau for something that's both local and topical.
Lopical.
Okay.
Tocal? You getting tocal, man? Just give me a little tocal, man.
Oh my God, I'm leaving.
Good night.
Take care.
Take care. So this one, the Willamette Week. As you know, my boy over at the Willamette Week, Lucas.
It's Willamette Weekly, I think.
No, it's Willamette Week. Take a look. Take a look here.
You're
yep,
right.
that's right. I thought that too. You would think, but
it's weekly.
It is weekly.
Is what I was saying. Gotta go.
Anyhow, it was not reflected in the title. Just week, Willamette Week. Willamette Week sounds like a once a year, though. This is a terrible name for a publication. It's like, it's Willamette Week. Once again, it's like Senior Week or Shark Week. It's Willamette Week. I'm like, no, they come out. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. My
Shark Week.
My boy Lucas Manfield, as you know, I got an email gone out to Lucas Manfield. Listeners of the show will know that I've read a lot of his pieces.
Wait, did you really reach out to him?
I fired off an email. Yes, I'm trying to get him on the program.
Wow.
To have a chat because he's really something. But listen, Lucas, if you're listening, there's no way in hell you are yet. But if you do, hey, we'll welcome you on. I'd love to agree to disagree. Would love it.
Wow.
You're doing real harm there with your reporting. And so if you have the minerals to back it up, come on the program. Let's chat. But anyhow, this article from him here. And then to follow it up, we'll also, I have a Street Roots, which we just picked up a copy of the other day. Shout out to streetroots.org.
Big fans.
Incredible operation they're running over there. But this Willamette Week piece here says, here's what Chair Jessica Vega Peterson was told about Multnomah County's suspended tinfoil distribution program. Vega Peterson suspended the new harm reduction program earlier this month after Willamette Week reported the details of its implementation.
Okay, so what was the program that was suspended? Will you just quickly explain?
Right. So basically, the Multnomah County Health Department was planning to begin distributing tinfoil and pipes to fentanyl users as part of its harm reduction program. Such plans came as a surprise to many county officials, and 3 days later, County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson announced the suspension of the program.
So this is kind of like the crack pipe thing with
very,
Biden,
very.
Right?
It brought. Yes, it gave me shades of that scenario. And here's what's
giving crack.
It's
pipe.
giving crack pipe. It's giving the right wing hysteria around the crack pipe. Yeah. So the other funny thing here is, and who's not quoted in this Lucas Manfield article, of course, but in the Street Roots piece. The follow-up to this that they put out, they talked to a friend of the show who's been on before, Haven Wheelock.
Oh, I love
with Outside In. Haven's great, and so she kind of clarifies too, of course, that they've been doing this. This ain't a new program of the tinfoil.
So basically, they're trying to get people safe supplies,
especially smoking supplies, because smoking. If you're looking at it from a harm reduction perspective, smoking is. Absolutely, of course, when you get into injecting, that's a whole nother, brings on a whole new set of public health concerns.
Right.
So this idea, and she's absolutely right with this, Haven Wheelock brings up real world examples of people who are kind of like, oh, if I can't smoke, like injecting, like once people are using, and it's the high from smoking too, you can still get very, as with crack as well, you get kind of, you can get, people get after it, is my point, from all sides, and it's just safer to smoke, regardless of how the use.
So you want to have people to have what they need to smoke fentanyl, because it gets even more dicier when they're injecting.
Yes, and that's common. That again, putting the moral judgment aside, that's a reality. Yes,
right.
Smoking things are safer than injecting them for a lot of reasons.
You should put that in a bumper sticker.
That's a nice little bumper. Smoking, what was it? Smoking things are,
you said, smoking things are safer than injecting things.
That's my bumper sticker. And it says Perot 92 is also on there.
Oh,
hell of a bumper.
The kids won't get that one.
No. So basically this is silly. So from a standpoint, this is just a classic. Here's what my read on this.
They're just giving people drugs, and you're like,
and of course they knew that. But now when they specify, it's the same with it was the same thing with the crack pipe thing that came out with the Biden administration.
It's giving
this
crack
idea
pipe.
it's giving big crack pipe big time. they okayed it. It's part of the harm reduction programs that they're funding. They pick out a specific thing, which they know is sensational. My God, giving people tinfoil to smoke. We got people dying in the streets here, and you're giving people, that's encouraging drug use. Again, the evidence, the data, that's just not. So moral shit aside, the decades of people looking into this, the decades of research and not just anecdotal, but actual, people looking at this, it just doesn't increase drug use. It reduces all the other, the concerns I said with injection, Hep C, HIV.
Right.
Just, in general.
Yeah, but it's like what you just said. It's sensational.
Harder to overdose.
It's sexy.
Now, fentanyl is a different beast, but still, like I would say, smoking versus injecting right into the bloodstream there. So there's a lot of issues with that. It's funny that they picked this out. It's nonsense, of course, Lucas.
So they never even implemented this program. They were gearing up to do it. Certain people got wind of it, and then there was enough shit talk that they shut it down.
They shut it down. Well, they paused it, and now they're playing hot potato with like we didn't. So Lucas Manfield doing his incredible investigative journalism here, really deep throating it. He says, well, we requested communications between Vega Peterson's office to get like their communications plan and see like when they knew what they knew and all this. And I'm like, yes, of course, everyone kind of knew about this, and now people are some of the council. The county, Multnomah County, is stepping up and saying, well, we didn't, we actually were never on board with this, and we didn't know that was specifically going to be a part of this. And it's just all this nonsense where now it's like dragging their feet as people are out there fucking dying. It's like people always look at this too, where they don't put a face to it. And it's like, oh, let's just tie this up in legislation for, a couple of years where we slowly trickle it out, where they were trying to just do a thing where I think that because look, Manfield sensationalized. This is the kind of shit they want to put in writing so that people reading this are like, my word, is that participants can choose up to 2 of the following kits per day: snorting kit, booty bumping, boofing kit, bubble kits, straight pipe kits, hammer pipe kits, and foil kits. And again, this is like you start talking about a subculture, and something that's already stigmatized to high hell. And now you're talking about specifics of it in a sensational way where people are, of course, average person is going to clutch some pearls over the holy act of putting drugs up your butt, which is the quote here. That
again, though, it's like with the thing with the execution. Should the state execute people? No, it doesn't matter what they do. This is like, well, I'm sorry if they're just shoving fentanyl up their ass, and you're like, why does it matter? Like, if people are living in this disgusting society and trying to do what they have to do to get by, like, I don't care if they're jamming it in their fucking ear. Like, it's so weird.
Boof and fent
that's the line.
Yeah, boof and fent is a the least obscene thing that's going on in the day to day.
That's your bumper.
There we go.
Boofing fent, the least obscene thing happening here today. I think you should. You got to get this guy on.
Yeah, I want to get him on.
Scream that at him. Because they really are just trying to make it seem like people are just like lining the streets, like jamming shit up their ass.
Yeah, and as I've said here before, the delay in funding is what is big thing. Because I heard another, I don't know if it was fucking Apple News. I don't know, one of the things that's on my phone that tells me some news. Big thing today was that 110 has failed. And again, this is the narrative that's getting out there.
I was just going to say that, like, I'm sure you'll do like a whole episode on that. But they really love holding Oregon up because of the decriminalization of hard drugs as this like failed program.
Sure.
And there's been a lot of like national news on that lately that I've seen popping up on my phone, and that's really fucked up. They just like
after
handicap
6 decades.
Everything. They don't fund it well. It's just getting started. It's in its like nascent stages of like refunding these grassroots programs, and it's like kind of a mess and a little bit sloppy, and they're immediately so quick to make didn't work. And you're like, well, it worked in Portugal because they gave it a couple decades.
Yes.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, to even begin to try to measure it is
weird.
It's dishonest.
They literally just
it's not in good faith, right?
Those
right.
Yeah,
no, that is
110 and
anyone who's claiming to be like, well, if you look at the headlines, and the thing that they always say on there that I've shot down, it's just this is why I would love Manfield. Please, Manfield, come and sit. I'll invite you. Manfield's in Portland. I'll invite him if it's okay with you, dear. I'll invite him to sit here in the green lights of the studio.
If it's okay with me, I don't know. In the home. Sure.
Manfield, I will invite you into my home.
He looks weird. I'm looking at his headshot. I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't talk shit about him if he's going to come on.
Well, Lucas Manfield covers cops, courts, and crime for Willamette Week. Not weekly, but week.
Well, you pointed out something because you were saying that, yes, drug use has gone up, but it's also gone up in the places that have the strictest criminal punitive measures for drugs.
Yes, thank you.
So it's like...
So what is that? That
it's obviously not causal. It's
Sure.
probably not even correlated at that point if it's...
No, it can't be.
Inversely related elsewhere.
That's right.
I think it's just that people are using more drugs because society has crumbled.
Yes, and if anything, you would say, now we're getting into the nitty gritty here, where it's just like, if your goal is you want people to stop using drugs, then you got to take a look at yourself. And I would say, be like, why are you so concerned with what other people are putting in their body? Number one, but also just this idea that if it's gone up in places that are extremely punitive, if Singapore's hanging women for 31 grams of heroin, and that's about as extreme of a penalty as you can get. But just in the U.S. in particular, it's spiking in states that have gone the opposite route of Oregon. So that just means we have an issue that cannot be stopped right now. It's not about stopping people from using drugs. So saying, are we here to take care of people or are we not? And look, if you want to just take the hard line in the sand, but just own it. Own the idea of just being like, I don't fucking care about these junkies. I don't want to see them on the street. I don't want to have to fucking pass them. I don't want to have to look at them. I don't want to even have to think about them. I'd rather, I just don't give a shit. They're a criminal, junkie, whatever, fuck, they can go die. Own that then. But this idea that it's kind of like, well, is it a policy thing is just silly because what is the policy? If the policy is to get people to stop using drugs, then fuck that policy. That's not a policy. If it's a public health policy, then you'd be like, you stick with people and there needs to be follow-up. You need to change people's material conditions before you can ever expect them to stop chaotic. And again, who cares if they stop using or not? Let people use safely and have fucking safe housing and change those material conditions.
Well, yeah, and everything's obviously connected. To have such a housing crisis and then be like, why is everyone on drugs? Yeah. It's because we're not shooting them in the street or throwing them in jail. It's
it's one of those.
It's interesting. But I think it's really dangerous, though, this national narrative. That we tried it.
Yes.
It makes me think that's kind of why they let it fly here. So that they could be like, look, we're down. We did the thing.
And Haven said that when she was on the show, was talking kind of about that idea of this pressure now of yes, that's going to be, but there's going to be chirping from all sides on that kind of stuff. But I'm just like, you can't, this idea that especially it's just funny from the right wing punditry of it has always just been this, the cesspools of the city and you go into these big cities and the urban decay and the drug use and all it. I'm like, you've been fucking barking that since I've been alive and listening to Limbaugh, et cetera. And now, Tucker and into our generation, but it's that same narrative has been barked forever. So it's and that was when the height of the drug war. This is now ideas where these kind of things of death penalties were floated, the harsh sentencing laws, the Rockefeller law specifically in New York. We went the
I was going to say, look at Times
route.
Square. They cleaned that up, and now it's a beautiful oasis.
Yes. Right. Yes. It's a gorgeous M&M store.
Yes.
The M&Ms are
TGI wasteland.
TGI fentanyl.
Of wonder.
Listen, Manfield, I'm going to prepare you for a counter here. I'm not going to trap you on this one, but it just is the argument that Oregon, that 110 has increased drug use immediately is countered by the states that didn't. And not only does that just flatten that argument, but it actually makes the argument in the other direction for saying, well, so there is no stopping it. So what we're talking about then doing, so it kind of just wipes the whole. So I would love to just hear Mansfield's counter to that because
I think you just got to get him on.
Yeah. If not, I'm just going to speak for him. I'm just going to do a role playing until he shows up.
Yeah.
You might be able to. If we get a beard on you, you might be able to pull. He's got long locks here. I'm just thinking if he can't make it, maybe you're here, you smell great, you look great in the lighting. Maybe we just put a fake beard on you and you play Mansfield.
This is my own prejudice, but I'm always shocked when somebody with long hair is this lame.
Isn't that something?
I think that's a
Christian. There's something almost evangelical.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that I'm Jesus look, man. I'm just like. I'm wearing Birks and I got the long hair.
Yeah, but you
I'm
should want to take care of people then. You're going to hell.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm Jesus. You're going to hell.
Well, but
Jesus is classic. That was on his bumper sticker.
Jesus.
You're going to hell.
On his
In a hand cart.
He had a hand cart. Did he? You said something interesting where you're like, even if there are societies that are willing to shoot people in the street or hang them or whatever for doing drugs, and they're still using drugs, then you can't really tie it to punitive measures at all.
No.
Like the ups and downs of drug use.
And what the fuck ever happened to this idea, this binary all or nothing, just absurdity. It's just complete absurdity at this point when it comes to, could you say that if you went full Duarte, if you funded, like we already, just the amount of money that we give to the DEA, so let's just say we slash it all, get rid of Social Security, get rid of like the tiny bit of social safety net that's like got, Swiss cheese at this point. There's holes in it. It's not really a net at all.
Like internet at the library.
Right.
Yeah.
Library's gone.
She gone.
Yeah. Just any sort of all the SNAP benefit, any of the shit, it's all gone. So you put full court press on with law enforcement. Even if that were to possibly like slow in some parts of the country at different times, a little bit of drug use, it'll never stop it. And what is the cost?
I think it would actually pump it the fuck up.
I make that argument too, but it's not theoretical necessarily, because you look at Duarte in particular, and it's like, and I don't know about Singapore, because a lot of these places too, if they're not giving you an honest assessment of Duarte is
Philippines.
Philippines, yes. Yes.
Thailand too, isn't it punishable by death?
I think there's a few.
Remember when we were there and they were like,
yes, you do not want to get caught.
You don't want to get caught with drugs because that's it for you.
Because Rahm Emanuel? Rahm 9.
The ninth, yeah.
Rahm the ninth don't play on his sax.
I mean, he does play
the sax. Does not play with his drugs.
Does not play with,
his drug war. There's a few countries that are certainly, that have always been. But again, the people are still smuggling. There are people still getting caught there.
Yeah, if the highest price possible, which is your life, is put on the line and you're still willing to do drugs, then it's just the proof's in the pudding that punitive measures for drugs don't work.
Which is why the foolish, they thought they were so genius with the drug strategies that came up in the specifically even in the 80s and stuff, where it was Bill Bennett as the drug czar, the first drug czar under Reagan, and Biden was the Democrat who was like, I'm getting in with Bill Bennett and we're going to hash out this drug strategy and whatnot. And it's this silliness of like, well, you got to stop it. They're like having arguments. These are grown people who we're paying for their fucking, their way through life, their healthcare, taking care of their families, everything forever, to go and represent us in a public forum where it's like, you listen to some of these arguments from back in the day and it's just silly grandpas howling at the moon, where it's this idea of like, well, we need to stop, so interdiction is one thing. And then there's also preventative stuff. So we need to get education. So that's where the DARE program comes in. It's like, well, if we stop the supply, or stop the demand rather than the supply, it's like all these silly, they're like, oh, we'll attack it from multiple sides, where we do enforcement and we do whatever. And then treatment was always like just the tiniest sliver possible in that pie. And it obviously turned out to be all the money was just given to the DEA and so they talk about interdicting stuff. It's like, oh, that's just a justification for invasions
talk about giving
countries.
Decades to something to see if it works. I mean, war on drugs.
So right,
how many years is that going on? 40?
That's the hilarious thing. It's like, yes, 3 years and we
50?
Go 60. I think it had the 60th anniversary. Nixon was 70.
Oh, well, happy anniversary to you and yours.
Have a nice night for yourself, like a little candlelit dinner to celebrate.
Yeah, let's hang somebody to celebrate.
So we got plenty to see there on that side. Now, some people would also, again, the extremists, and I at least respect this, some people would make the argument that, yes, the rhetoric was there for the drug war. Yeah, there were plenty of but it didn't go far enough. There were the courts were so spread thin that there would be people who got busted on the corner. The cops pick them up. Oh, they were selling crack on the corner, and they're out again later that day.
And the CIA was selling crack in Los Angeles.
Sure.
Did that?
Well, they were held accountable for that. So that's all well and good. Yeah, they were out late. Let's just say the CIA got out later that day. They were back on the block selling after they were exposed for that. Yeah, I mean, exactly. So we've seen it the other way. So it is a very fun, silly argument that I would actually, I would actually respect. So we got to Again, I welcome Lucas.
So I'm like, if you're still listening,
Lucas,
we just rambled on for a long time.
Lucas is taking notes. He better be, because he better come correct. All right, well, that's our Willamette week. We didn't even get too much Haven, Wheelock, and Street Roots. What more do we need to say about that? Streetroots.org.
The best.
The best. Portland, Oregon's award-winning weekly street newspaper for those who can't afford free speech. Just dynamite operation. But yeah, that's topical. Is there anything else topical, Diana, that you would like
That's tapioca, I think is it.
Little pudding with nuggets in it. Or what is it?
It's topical.
What are those little fish balls? Are they fish eggs? What are those little balls?
Tapioca?
Yeah,
I think it's a seed.
Little jelly seeds?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't care for it. The texture's not right.
See, I love the pudding. I don't like when they get really big, like in the drink.
Oh, the bubble tea.
Yeah, I can't chew my drinks.
No, she doesn't like to chew her drinks. That's why I drink Slim Fast.
You don't need teeth to enjoy our tapioca.
Oh, man.
All right, I think we got to go.
I think we got it. Thanks to our proud sponsors, Nike, Polar.
Apple's another one, though. I would say Apple Gray.
MasterCard.
Silvery gray.
Oh, Apple Gray. Interesting. Even though they call it Space Gray because they're run by aliens.
What?
Apple. It's called Space Gray. What?
Is it really called Space Gray?
I believe so.
Oh my God. You're saying I know colors?
Shit. I know Mac products.
You do. I'm do?
Mr. Mac.
Dude, you're getting a Dell. I see Dell right over there.
Oh,
shit. Dell, I see HP.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Remember those?
Yeah. Those were huge. That dude was fucking on some cannabis. I think he was this whole deal.
He was on uppers for sure.
Oh, so sativa.
You think he was stoned?
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Yeah, but I think they were just like feeding him meth and kept him in a small room with a Dell.
Well, he's going to be in the in memoriam before this episode's up. We'll have to do our fill-ins from now till tomorrow. Less than 24 hours, this episode will be live. So let's see who we get to fill in on the in memoriam. Diana, is there anything else you got for people here? Any final parts?
I guess just rip sunburn cannabis, and that's it.
Just rip and tear that summer in cannabis.
Thanks for having me back. Always a pleasure.
You're the best, Lon. Thank you for always coming in. We'll see you in 11 eps, I believe.
44.
44, the big 44. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you out there for listening. This has been your weekly dose.
Hey America, there's no use in sleeping with your children, with your daughters, with your sons, and with your husband.
Self-Medicated Weekly Dose is hosted and produced by me, Murph Meyer, with support from Pop Culture Collaborative. Our theme song is My Congressman by 15, courtesy of Jeff Ott and Hopeless Records. Original artwork and production design by Diana Kolsky. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the program, you can listen to new episodes of Weekly Dose every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. While you're at it, subscribe to the Self-Medicated YouTube channel to see new video clips from the show each week. Follow me on Instagram at Murph Meyer. And for some top-shelf harm reduction resources, head over to selfmedicatedpod.com. Also, don't forget, you can call the Weekly Dose podcast anytime to leave me a voicemail message with your thoughts on drugs and the people who use them. Just pick up the phone and dial 443-MK-ULTRA. All right, that's about it for me. I'll see you next week. Love and solidarity. Goodbye.